Heidi, hi campers, it's almost Christmas, I could say it now, and I'm slowly getting that little bit more festive in the background. Husband walks in at the weekend because he's not often here when I film, so I decided, I'm not just doing it for filming, I'm going to sit here in the evening, I'm going to watch a Christmas film, and I'm going to have all my lights on. He walks in and he says, it's looking a bit gnomey. Gnomey? Gnomey? How dare you, sir? Get out! They are not gnomes. They are quite clearly gonks. They are Christmas gonks. Absolutely disgraceful. He can't even tell the difference between a gnome and a gonk. I mean, what is the world coming to? Now, moving on from that, I still don't have a car. He's come and collected it. He's meant to be repairing it because the brand new car has got lots of things wrong with it. It's now been 3 days. I'm still getting a little bit stressed because my old car, we've had to keep that back from being scrapped. It's a miracle it hasn't broken down yet, but that's all we're left with. And we have to be able to take the dogs out and about. So I'm like, stay calm, inner peace. So it's probably not a good time to start wrapping presents or anything. But we've been out for some gorgeous walks with the dogs. They love it, but they definitely have to wear their jumpers because they are Greek rescues. You think that they would have climatised by now. They have not. They do not like the cold. In fact, if you open up the door and there's so much of them, a bit of ice out there, they're both like, no. You're like, come on, you've got to go. So the fun of having dogs. Anyway, let's move on to the royal stuff, the royal news. It's been coming out thick and fast. We're going to start with Harry, Meghan and their mouthpiece cheerleader, Omid. I call him that because he hates being called that. So haha. Right, we're going to start with them and then go on to the royals. So first up, we have got Omid is back in LA. He is, apparently that's where he lives now, and maybe it's because he knew that he didn't have very long before the truth would come out. Now I feel very sorry for Omid's family because he sat there on TV and he swore on his life and his family's life that he had never ever put the royal names into any version of a book that he himself has done, presented, created, written, signed and sealed off. But sure enough, his agent sent over the wrong manuscript to the Dutch translators. It's been confirmed. So who put those names in the wrong manuscript? And the fact that so many of you guys have told me, your editors yourselves, you work in the industry, you have to have so many people that sign off copies, people that check people's checked work to make sure you cannot be sued, that everything is correct. Standards have to be upheld, especially when it comes to translation. And sure enough, a version of the manuscript has made its way over to the Dutch translators. So I'd say the proof is in the pudding. Now let's move on to, of course, Harry is over in the UK. You probably already know that by now. He is fighting a court case. So his wife, Meghan, she has decided to do another car park paparazzi stroll. She was filmed in a video clip and then she has also released photographs, all done by Backgrid, released to dailymail.com. And there are certain details that I think it also came with a statement because there is a lot of discussion to do with the bracelet that she's wearing. But first of all, let's talk about the clip of Meghan walking to the car. This woman in front of her just walks straight past. She has no idea who Meghan is, nor does she care. This is a security guard meant to be protecting her. Does he know who that woman is? Surely he would stand between himself and his client if he is protecting her to make sure nothing untoward is going to happen, unless he is just purely the chauffeur there to open the door for Meghan, who miraculously has lost the ability to do so for herself after making such a bold statement to the media that she could do it when she was part of the royal family. Woman holds door open for herself. Will I ever stop being shocked? But take the paparazzi. The paparazzi is quite clearly stood alongside Meghan. Now, if you are security, your job is to protect your client. Surely, if Meghan is being hounded by the paparazzi, he would put his body between the camera and Meghan. And this is one of the things that always falls apart with Meghan when she's with her security guards, because they're meant to be protecting her from intrusive photographs of the paparazzi, making sure that she's safe. And yet they all seem to stand pretty far back to make sure that Meghan and her wrist, with whatever jewellery she's wearing, is in clear view every single time. Bit of a giveaway. Now, Meghan, with her usual smiling, assassin grin, had reportedly left the gym. Well, I want to know, what woman goes to the gym wearing a pinky ring, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of jewellery? And as the dailymail.com pointed out, she was wearing a bracelet, a diamond bracelet given to her by the king. And the newspapers ran with it that Meghan is showing solidarity with King Charles amid the race row. I mean, who writes this utter waffle? If anything, what Meghan is doing is going, ha 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 ha, I have completely trashed your family time and time again. I've got your son, I've got your grandchildren. I have destroyed your entire family dynamic forever. And guess what? I've got your diamonds too. Ha ha. This is the absolute perfect picture of a narcissistic grin. This is a woman who is an agent of destruction and chaos, who lives for the drama that surrounds her and her husband. The reason why she and Harry have not spoken out yet to deny any of these race allegations, to actually show genuine solidarity with the royal family, shows that they are happy for this storyline, this narrative to continue. Now, as for her husband, he is over in the UK, as I said, and he is back in court fighting the Home Office to have taxpayer-funded security. Now, this is where I have to keep saying this for people that have maybe just tuned in. Harry does want taxpayer-funded security because he wants Metropolitan Scotland Yard police protection, armed guards. And the police are not for hire. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if it was the king himself. Specially trained police officers that have got their gun license are not for hire by anybody. If Harry wins this case, because he is not a working royal, he is, in all intents and purposes, just a celebrity now, a D-list, desperate, attention-seeking celebrity, it will open the floodgates to anyone who is also on an egotistical power trip that wants armed security to follow them around. They can have top security. Harry can even have ex-Scotland Yard who were specially trained with all of the security to do with the royal family, but they cannot carry guns. Harry's insistence on this is because he got told no. This is a flex. Harry wants to look important, so he's got armed guards around him. It will also enable him and Meghan to apply for IPP status, because if he is given 24/7 top tier police protection in the UK, it means that he will be expected to have that when he goes to other countries, because no other country would want a potential incident to happen on their clock and they hadn't paid for his and Meghan's protection. Now, bear in mind, this is the same Prince Harry who has waged war on his family with claims of abuse, neglect, and more importantly, racism. He has used the public by doing it on Oprah, with the podcasts, with making it all public. He has sold every single detail of his slights for money in hope that it will turn members of the public against the royal family. Now, I'm not saying there is a connection, but isn't it funny when this whole racism row kicked up back on Oprah in 2021? It's the very same year that a man tried to break into Windsor Castle on Christmas Day with a crossbow to try and take the Queen's life. Now, I am by no way implying that Harry and Meghan are responsible for this man's actions. There are a lot of fixated and unstable people out there in the world. But for Harry and Meghan, who was then the Queen's grandson, the future king's son, to sit on Oprah and to do these allegations of neglect, mistreatment, to try and paint the royal family as these evil, racist villains, I think it gave the green light to many people to target them, because if the Queen's grandson can sit there and say these are really, truly awful people, like this man, it might have even fed into the psychosis that he had. I'm in no doubts, given the nature of the allegations that those two said on Oprah, especially to do with the racism against an unborn child, that the royal family probably had to increase their security. The threat level certainly seemed to increase across social media, and I can only imagine what went on behind the scenes. Unfortunately, many people just automatically believed Harry and Meghan. And of course, let's not forget in Spare, Harry didn't have any issues with revealing detailed layouts of people's private residences. That led to several former members of security staff to speak out and say this is incredibly dangerous to members of the royal family. It actually puts their security at risk. So for Harry to be crying about his safety after what he's done to his whole family is just completely hypocritical. This is a man that has now increased the threat level on his family. When I say his family, I mean even his own children. He's living in another country. He does not have the same protection that he did when he was a full-time member of the royal family, a working member. And then he goes and does something like that. I think he did it to try and sway the decision about him being allowed to have security. But what man, what father endangers and increases the risks on his own family's lives? Now, putting some of the seriousness away, let's have a little bit of a giggle. Harry's legal counsel are fighting, obviously, for him. And they've said as part of their argument that the committee that made the decision did not consider that the impact on the UK's reputation should a successful attack be carried out. What he's saying is it's in the UK's national interests to give him security, that the UK will risk severe reputational damage should a successful incident happen against him. That's his argument from his legal counsel. Harry is so important that the UK is risking severe reputational damage around the world by not giving him 24/7 security. This man's ego and levels of entitlement it's out of this world. It's cosmic, it's astronomical. It's honestly jaw-dropping. In another argument, they said in the 8 visits that Harry has made between June 2021 and even when he attended the King's coronation, that the security level that he received was wholly inadequate. We had diplomats, foreign dignitaries, members of royal families from all around the world. We had the First Lady of the United States of America. We had politicians. We had people that are internationally protected in attendance. Can you imagine the security that was around the coronation event? And yet not one single other person has complained about the security they received except Harry. Now, I'd like to take this time to point this out. Harry does get full police protection when he comes to any royal family event. So basically, if Harry is invited to attend a royal engagement, he gets 24/7 Scotland Yard top tier policing. Harry feels that he, his wife and his 2 children, when they eventually ever come to the UK, should have the same level of police as the King and then, of course, Prince William, Katherine and their children, the heir to the throne. He feels that he should have the exact same level of protection. And it's been made clear by his legal team that he is a prince of the realm, that he is the son of the current monarch. Well, I'd like to point out he was one of 8 grandchildren of the then reigning monarch when he started arguing this. Not only that, the current Queen, Queen Camilla, has children of her own and grandchildren. In fact, no other members of the royal family are demanding what Harry is demanding, including the Princess Royal, who was the only daughter of our last reigning monarch, who is the only member of the royal family who actually survived a very dangerous and very real kidnapping attempt. Several people got shot, and when he shouted at her with a gun to get out of the car, she held the door shut and shouted, "Not bloody likely." Princess Anne does not have full-time police protection. In fact, it is only the King, the Queen and heir to the throne with his family that has the level of security that Harry wants. His demands are made often so much more ridiculous. When we see Katherine and William with their children, they might have one person with them. They go out for lunch. Katherine still goes shopping and takes the children to buy stationery for school terms. Prince William in New York went for a run with one one protection officer around Central Park. No one noticed him. Katherine and William are the future king and queen, and they go about doing school runs and doing all sorts of things, and they do not even have the level of protection that Harry and Meghan want around them. Harry quit being part of the royal family. Megxit was declared, giving the royal family 10 minutes notice. If Harry was really concerned of what might happen to him when he left the royal family, then he should have actually given his family due notice, discussed with them, been a grown-up and had meetings about what it would truly mean if I decide to up sticks, sell absolutely everything, including all of you down the river, for a paycheck while I try to be a celebrity in America. I can't imagine that the Queen would have gone, oh, well, now that you put it like that, yes, absolutely, you keep all of the perks. Harry chose the life that he now has. It's about time that he learnt the expression, you've made your bed, now you need to lie in it. Harry is completely delusional, and I do not think that this argument is anything to do with security, because as I said, if he was that concerned about his and his wife's safety, he'd stop his wife doing these stupid car park pap strolls. He would also not be increasing the risk and putting targets on his family's back by discussing what he did in spare when it came to his time in Afghanistan. I think the only reason why Harry is fighting this is because, one, he was told no, this is basically a petulant, stroppy tantrum, well, my brother's got it, so I want it sort of attitude. And then also because I think that he wants to use our armed police, who are few in numbers as it is, as his very own ego-boosting goon squad for when he does come to visit the UK. And again, I will reiterate, Harry does have police protection, full police protection, when he comes to the UK for royal events. What Harry is demanding is full-time royal protection when he is not attending anything to do with the royal family. He wanted to be a celebrity. You behave like a celebrity, you pay for your own security. End of. Well, back in the real world, Prince William has been drawing much needed attention to homelessness again, and he has actually turned up at Tesco in Hammersmith to surprise shoppers as he worked alongside big issue seller Dave, who Prince William has previously met. They exchanged Christmas cards with each other as they promoted the big issue to Christmas shoppers. I love this. I love the fact that Prince William is still heavily promoting this magazine. Obviously, as we know, King Charles was on a recent edition of it and he bought a copy himself. This is all part of Prince William's initiative Homeward, which is trying to eradicate homelessness in the UK. And I love the big issue. I've said about it before, because the people that are selling it are actually, it's a job for them. It actually gives them a little bit of pride, I suppose. You know, not everybody asks to become homeless. Not many people choose to remain homeless. And there's still, unfortunately, a lot of stigma as people walk past and they say, you know, get a job, you bum, and things like that. And these people have got a job. So when you see a big issue seller next time, even if you don't want a copy of the big issue magazine, please remember that they are actually working. And by you buying a copy of it, it actually gives them a hand up rather than a hand down, as the big issue company likes to promote. Now, let's move on to Prince William's wife, the Princess of Wales. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. Katherine, who was all suited and booted to open a brand new children's day surgery unit. I recognised a little boy that was in the photographs with her, Tony Hudgell. He is such an inspirational little boy with the heart of a lion. He's raised so much money to help others, and I expect that we will probably see him in the crowd with his parents at the Christmas Carol concert Together at Christmas, which is going to be filmed this week. Now, the new day surgery unit is at the Evelina London Children's Hospital, and Katherine has been a patron since 2018. Whilst on the visit, the princess also met with a lovely little girl who helped her open the new unit, called Ella Moth. Ella won a competition to design pieces of artwork to be displayed in the new unit, and she designed lots of lovely cosmic drawings. Her inspiration for the drawings were for that of her father, who sadly died in 2021 of a brain tumour, and she does the stars because her dad's up with the stars. And I honestly, even saying it, I don't know how Katherine can talk to these children and hear their little stories like that and not burst into tears. I mean, I'm holding it in now, but it's just such a lovely thing for a little girl to use something like that to try and make other children happy. And Katherine has just such a lovely knack and a way with children as well. And I'm sure it must be very emotional for the little girl's mother Katherine was also later sharing a hug with Miwa Stevenson, who was a bit emotional herself, but because her 4-year-old little girl had just had surgery. Katherine acknowledged how incredibly worrying it is for any parent when your children are in hospital or they're unwell. The staff and the patients around the hospital all said the same thing, that Katherine lifted everyone's spirit. Every person that she went in to see, it made their day. I just think it's really lovely when you see members of the royal family taking the time to meet all of these people and putting a smile on their face as well. Now, Prince William and Katherine also reunited later in the evening, and that was for the annual diplomatic reception at Buckingham Palace, and Katherine was wearing Jenny Packham. Yes, a beautiful pink gown that we have actually seen before. In fact, we have seen the entire outfit, from the tiara to the clutch to the beautiful Grenville chandelier diamond earrings that were Queen Elizabeth's at the Royal Jordan wedding earlier in the year. Katherine looked just as lovely then as she did last night. As the expression goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And she certainly looked absolutely gorgeous, sparkling from head to toe. There was a lovely photograph shared by Chris Jackson of the Prince and Princess of Wales and the King and Queen. I have to say, Prince William's smile in this photograph makes me smile. He really is such a handsome looking man. And it's a really lovely photograph of all 4 of them together. It's so good that a lot of the UK newspapers have ran with it for their front page, and they have thankfully not given any attention to the 2 desperados from Montecito. It seems even the newspapers are becoming increasingly bored with their desperate attempts to try and get headlines, but this did not stop Harry and Meghan, through naturally a friend, or a source as they sometimes quote. They have come forward to rectify some serious headlines that have been bandied about recently. No, of course, it's got nothing to do with the false allegations of racism against his former sister-in-law and his father, King Charles. No, that they are remaining uncharacteristically quiet, further confirming for me that they wish for this narrative to continue. They have instead confirmed that they were in fact invited to and given a save the date card for a huge society wedding that will be happening next year. The original headlines had said that Harry and Meghan had not been invited, but through a friend they have confirmed that they were in fact invited, but they decided to decline as they did not want to cause any unnecessary drama. Now, I'm sure that the bride and groom are loving their impending nuptials now being overshadowed or used by Harry and Meghan's team to yet again make subtle digs at the royal family. I'm sure, if anything, this has probably reaffirmed their decision to not invite the 2 drama llamas from Montecito. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I will be back with you very soon, and I will speak to you in the comments. Take care for now. Bye.